Braka, grand rising unto everybody. Hope all is well with everyone. We get right into it. As you can see, it's getting serious out here in these streets, and we have altered egos, aka you got what they call dopplergangers. Well, we're going to get into what it really is. Just like that word clone, but it's another type of you and another type of dimension that get things going. So further ado, let's get right into it and see what we're talking about. Welcome to HSE-TV Entertainment. Hope you enjoy.
Hell no. Hell no. Hell no. Hell no.
Let's see that one more time.
Hell no. Hell no. Hell no. Hell no.
Now, them ain't teeth you could put in your mouth like like the movies or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Andy Tova, Braka. These ain't stuff you could just fangs you could put in. You know what I'm saying? Like, how did they get like that? And not really asking the question. I just want you to think. Braka Mike Hunley. All right, I'm about to switch back over. We're going to see some more stuff. Some more exclusives going on around the world. You know, like what happens if you walk down the street and seen yourself? Would you say, they trying to make me? Or would you just panic? What would you do?
That was the sin that did Jezebel in. Who you gonna tell when the repercussions spin?
You've been doing music for years and years, and then and probably I think as an artist you wait for the time, you know, when you really blow up, and then when it happens, what happens to you then?
You know what? A lot happened. It was there. You know, last night I struggled through a show. I mean, it was brutal for me.
Lauryn Hill was once one of the biggest names in the world, and today it appears Hollywood is out to get her for speaking the truth about the industry.
What I'm saying is we deal with reality right now. I'm saying let's deal with the basis of right now. We're talking about how we were kings and queens. That's all good. We discovered math and science, but now let's master math and science for right now. So we can have economic power. We have to deal within ourselves and eliminate them from our equation completely. We keep on dealing like the white man. You know, as soon as you say the white man took everything away from me, that means you got to give him props for everything that you do have.
Lauryn Hill recently garnered headlines for comments she made on punctuality and her mysterious second album. During a tour stop in Los Angeles, California, to commemorate the 25th anniversary of her debut album, The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill, she fell behind schedule. But she didn't simply apologize for her tardiness. She also made some thought-provoking remarks on her musical path.
Enough rhetoric. Now, where's the solution? What do we do once we discover it?
The solution is, like my man said, you have to know yourself.
According to Hill, her admirers should feel lucky that she graced the stage that night, and she attributes her performance to divine intervention. She brought up the significance of family and community support, citing her experience with a lack of backing for her sophomore album. She also revealed that no one approached her about a follow-up to her debut solo album. Fans have long complained about Hill's spotty concert attendance and sporadic new releases. Despite her unquestionable brilliance, these factors have added to her allure in the profession. But how did this respected musician, who had such huge success with her debut record, find her?
Now, I've done a teaching on this before. Definitely on Facebook. Maybe YouTube. Y'all might be new to this. But the point of the matter is they locked her in a room and she cried and whined until they let her go. Now, she canceled her tour this year for the same reason. They want to end her life like they did Michael, Tupac, Pimp C, Whitney Houston, so on. You know what I mean? You are expendable, you know. When you're in that type of world, you sign up for that type of environment. They don't really understand how deep the sacrifices goes. Till it's too
herself
late.
in this situation. Hill reached the top of the music.
Your diet might be ruining your skin. I'm a 50-year-old plastic surgeon in Beverly Hills. People never believe how old I am, so I decided to share my secrets to getting smooth skin, minimizing
The top of the music charts in 1998 with the release of Miseducation. The album opened at #1 and sold an astonishing 422,000 copies in its first week, breaking the record for female performers at the time. It went on to win an astonishing number of awards, including 5 Grammys, 3 American Music Awards, and honors from Billboard, Soul Train, and MTV.
Strumming my pain with his fingers.
Opportunities were banging on Lauryn Hill's door from all sides. Movie deals, magazine covers, you name it. She was more than just a growing worldwide star. She appeared to be the ideal artist to lead us into the 21st century. But then things got worse. How can someone who had such a
All right. Going on with this crazy stuff.
tremendous career with the Fugees go solo, sell 30 million copies of her debut album, and then vanish from the spotlight to become one of the music industry's greatest mysteries? Hill met Pras Michel and Wyclef Jean, Pras' cousin, while attending Columbia High School in New Jersey, and they went on to found the Fugees. While developing their skills at local performances and talent competitions, Hill dabbled in acting, gaining a
All right, y'all. I'm gonna have to hit the reset. This thing bugging. We are at 3 minutes. You know how I be doing. We want to mess up y'all's focus bar. As you can see all around the world, there are those that want to control, those that can't be controlled. And you become a problem when you can't be controlled. Yes, little old you that's going to 9 to 5. You're more powerful than these celebrities right now. See, they gesturing and singing and all that to get you to be into the slave mentality. That's why they want to be your role model. Oh, the devil's alive. Not all of them are bad, but you got to have a discerning spirit. Oh, yeah, they mad. They stalling my stuff. That's not the Wi-Fi. That's not the internet. That's Google. Because we telling you the truth. It's sitting there spinning.
disbanded in 1997, just a year after the release.
Drinking warm water before bed balances blood sugar levels and reverses type 2.
Mad
Thousands of
distractions
people
on
are
y'all.
apparently regaining.
Appreciate y'all patience and your focus. I'm glad y'all get to witness it, though. Look at this. Just look at that.
Of the score due to internal disagreements. Lauryn Hill's debut solo album was her primary focus in 1998. According to one insider, she was aiming for big hits so she could outshine the Fugees and Wyclef. Despite the enormous success of the score in 1996, which sold over 17 million copies, Hill believed there was more to be accomplished. With Wyclef Jean being regarded as the group's musical mastermind, Hill was determined to forge her own way. According to Roots drummer Amir Thompson, her solo career was more than just releasing an album. It was about breaking free from Wyclef's shadow.
Nothing even matters at all.
When The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill was released, it captivated audiences around the world. With 12 million copies sold, Hill cemented her reputation as one of the best female rappers, demonstrating her abilities not just as a rapper, but also as a vocalist, composer, and producer. Critics praised her, and the money poured in. According to estimates, Hill earned approximately $25 million in 1998 and 1999 from a variety of sources, including royalties, touring, and merchandise. At the age of 13, Hill had already set her sights on success, and by 1998, she had become an international celebrity. Hollywood approached with enticing offers, including roles in blockbusters such as Charlie's Angels and The Bourne Identity. Despite the allure, Hill declined several possibilities. Pras Michel of the Fugees said, "Lauren wasn't trying to do anything," bemoaning squandered opportunities. However, she did consider projects such as a Bob Marley biography and the romantic comedy picture Sauce. She even accepted a role in the adaptation of Toni Morrison's Beloved, but had to withdraw due to pregnancy. With opportunities to develop an entertainment empire equal to J-Lo or Madonna, Hill had the ability to be a force with substance. Despite her early success and several possibilities, Hill gradually faded from the spotlight. A friend said she became disillusioned with the contrived image of an international superstar who was continuously pressured to maintain perfection. Hill eventually hit a breaking point and decided to walk away, screaming, "F it." Artists, they argue, are more calculating than most people believe, with every aspect carefully considered. For Hill, the weight of accomplishment became too much to carry, prompting her to withdraw from the spotlight she previously enjoyed. The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill is among the best albums of all time. Its origins may be traced back to Hill's personal journey, which included dealing with the repercussions of the Fugees' breakup, her romance with Wyclef, her connection with Rohan Marley, and the trials and tribulations of life. Hill poured her heart and soul into the album, exposing her most intimate thoughts and emotions for everybody to hear. The recording process began in New York City in 1997, but Hill didn't finish the album until a year later, at Kingston, Jamaica's legendary Tough Gong Studios. It was then that she met the amazing musicians of New Ark, forging a creative collaboration that would influence the album's sound. When Miseducation was released, Hill was credited as the brains behind the production, writing, and arrangement of the entire record. Lauryn Hill's album, Miseducation, stood out as a sincere voice amidst the dominance of flashy styles in the music scene. While Sean Puffy Combs and others ruled with their shiny suit era, Hill's work delved into themes of heartache, spirituality, motherhood, and social consciousness, offering a refreshing contrast. At a time when pop music saw a resurgence with acts like the Spice Girls, Hill's authenticity appealed to those seeking more depth than the typical bubblegum pop. Hill wasn't alone in her prominence among female artists during the mid-90s, with names like Alanis Morissette, Missy Elliott, Erykah Badu, and Fiona Apple making waves. And stars like Madonna and Janet Jackson reaching new creative heights, women were thriving in music. However, Hill's music resonated particularly with those who felt emotionally disconnected from the hip-hop scene. Her vulnerability struck a chord, alongside her undeniable beauty and relatable image. Despite her initial success, fame became a double-edged sword for Hill. A couple of years ago, some kid had heard that I'd said that I didn't want white people to buy my records, and that really hurt me a great deal because I like to think my music is really universal, she told MTV in 1998. And I've been everywhere and I have fans everywhere, but because of some rumor that, some radio personality chose to say on his radio show, he had a bunch of people believing something that they'd never seen or never heard themselves, but just heard a rumor. However, amidst the acclaim came controversy. New Ark filed a hefty 50-page lawsuit against Hill Columbia Records and her management, alleging that she had utilized their songs and production skills without giving them due credit. Hill countered, accusing New Ark of attempting to exploit her fame. Eventually, a settlement was reached, with Hill agreeing to pay the four men $5 million to resolve the dispute. In 1998, New Ark's attorney, Peter C. Harvey, emphasized, "She is not a musician. She is not a producer," underscoring New Ark's role in Lauryn Hill's debut album and questioning her ability to replicate its success independently. He even challenged the idea of Hill replicating its success solo, suggesting a second album wouldn't sound the same. While there wasn't a traditional follow-up album, there was 2002's MTV Unplugged No. 2.0, where Hill revealed her struggles with fame. "I used to be a performer, and I really don't consider myself a performer anymore," she candidly shared during the performance. "I had created this public persona, this public illusion, and it held me hostage. I couldn't be a real person because you're too afraid of what your public will say. At that point, I had to do some dying." During a 2003 concert in Vatican City, Hill boldly addressed P among Catholic priests, drawing criticism. Despite backlash from the Catholic League and Monsignor Rino Fisichella, who labeled her remarks as poor taste and bad-mannered, Hill stood firm, saying, "What I said was the truth. Is telling the truth bad manners? What I asked was the church to repent for what has happened." Lauryn Hill's relationship with Rohan Marley hit rocky ground in the public eye, with scrutiny into their history making her earlier song, "You Still Defending Him?" from Miseducation seem a bit naive or hypocritical. She also drew attention for her association with Brother Anthony, described by some as a cult figure. In a candid interview back in 2013, Hill opened up about her post-debut journey, saying, "The wild thing is no one from my label has ever called me and asked, how can we help you make another album? Ever. Ever. Did I say ever? Ever. With the Miseducation, there was no precedent. I was, for the most part, free to explore, experiment, and express. After the Miseducation, there were scores of tentacled obstructionists, politics, repressing agendas, unrealistic expectations, and saboteurs everywhere. People had included me in their own narratives of their successes as it pertained to my album, and if this contradicted my experience, I was considered an enemy." Following that period, Hill's musical output became almost non-existent. In 2003, she was said to be working on her second album, with Columbia reportedly investing $2.5 million to support it. They even set up a studio in her Miami apartment and covered expenses for various artists to contribute. However, the project hit a roadblock as artists were kept waiting in hotels due to last-minute delays from Hill's team. Eventually, Columbia pulled the plug, leaving the album unfinished. A source revealed to Rolling Stone at the time, Lauryn Hill couldn't drive half a mile to the studio. Columbia bent over backwards for her, in pure self-interest, and I think they still believe in her, but you can't abuse the system like that. You can't do that. There were also reports that when musicians asked about payment for their work, Hill responded with, "Do it for God," essentially expecting them to work for free. Since then, Hill's career has been marked by sporadic singles, a stint in prison for tax evasion, frequent changes in appearance, and several tours. She even attempted a comeback with the Fugees, but the tour was scrapped due to conflicts among the members, reportedly exacerbated by Hill's insistence on being referred to as Miss Hill by everyone on the tour. Plus, her reputation for tardiness at shows persisted from the mid-2000s to the present day. By 2007, Hill was already on the solo circuit, but her performances were stirring up mixed feelings among audiences. Some were puzzled by her unheard takes on familiar tunes, her quirky wardrobe choices, and, well, her habit of running fashionably late, sometimes by just a few minutes, other times by a whopping 2 hours. Addressing her chronic tardiness in a 2016 Facebook post, Hill made it clear that it wasn't about disrespecting her fans or the music. "I don't show up late to shows because I don't care," she asserted. "And I have nothing but love and respect for my fans. The challenge is aligning my energy with the time, taking something that isn't easily classified or contained, and trying to make it available for others. I don't have an on-off switch." She went on to explain, "I am at my best when I am open, rested, sensitive, and liberated to express myself as truthfully as possible. For every performance that I've arrived to late, there have been countless others where I've performed in excess of 2 hours, beyond what I am contracted to do, pouring everything out on the stage." It's worth noting that health problems also threw a wrench in some of her plans. For instance, a show in Europe had to be called off in 2009 after she passed out on stage. On social media, Lauryn Hill's image has undergone quite the transformation since her 90s heyday. Once celebrated, she's now often depicted as an artist who couldn't care less, with self-interest taking precedence over everything else. Memes and jokes about her chronic tardiness and diva behavior only add fuel to the fire. Throughout all of this, she spent significant periods away from the public eye, focusing on raising her children and occasionally releasing new music that didn't always meet fans' expectations. Yet amidst the criticism, there are still those who steadfastly support Hill. They don't mind waiting for
I grew up always on the bigger side as a kid. I was always slightly thicker, big boned. That really continued into adulthood.
They don't mind waiting for her, considering how rare her performances and music releases have become. In a heartfelt 2016 Facebook post, Hill addressed the issue head-on, pointing out that despite her lateness, there are fans who stick around even longer just connect with her after the show. What hasn't been touched upon by the media, I'm sure, are the hundreds of people who rushed the stage and stayed in excess of an hour after the show ended last night, just to connect, she wrote. Our challenge is to figure out the best way to accommodate the vitality, spontaneity, and spirit that make the performances worthwhile and special to begin with, while also making that experience available and accessible to others. If I didn't love and respect the art, I wouldn't be doing this. The audience and I should have that in common. So it's not surprising that Lauryn Hill doesn't hold the same revered status for today's generation as she did for those who grew up in the 90s. Time moves on, and younger fans have their own set of musical icons to idolize and scrutinize. Some see Miseducation as a relic of the earnest 1990s, with its admonishments against things like hair weave and fake nails, reflecting the sanctimony often found in one's early 20s. Yet despite its age, Miseducation still resonates as potent art, even if some of its themes may feel outdated. Critics often point out that Hill has only released one studio album, but that shouldn't diminish her cultural impact. After all, artists like Patti Smith and Carole King also had relatively small discographies, yet their influence remains profound. Miseducation stands as a timeless document of Hill's personal struggles and her reflections on the world around her. For many who came of age in the 90s, it captured the essence of life at the turn of the century. And for Hill herself, it remains a poignant snapshot of her youth, as she expressed in a press.
As you see, folks, why Hollywood would want a righteous soul dead, because your book told you that, and the time that we are living in. Thank you for coming out to HSE-TV Entertainment, looking outside the real reality and seeing the gospel for what it is, prophetic word, or just simply the breath of the Great Mother, which moves matter in all directions that the mind of the divine wants them to. I'm BC the Tishvite, BC the Ivet Root. Ishe Shalawam Braka.